Welcome to Advancing Cancer Recovery. My name is Avinoam Lerner, and this is part 2 of the presentation titled The Problem with Current Cancer Care. This video, video number 2, follows up on the challenge that researchers face when they try to evaluate illness in general, and more specifically cancer, through the singular dimension or lens of their field of study. And by that I mean either through the lens of psychology and mental science or the lens of biology and medicine. A challenge which, based on Viktor Frankl's model of dimensional ontology that we worked with in the first video, led to the failure to see illness as a whole person event and therefore treat the whole person. And if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you do this now. The main problem that we're faced with, or the second problem we're faced with, is that we fail to identify the root cause of illness, and because of that, we only partially treat the cancer, hence increasing the possibility of recurrence or loss. By now, we know that because human beings are multidimensional, we must offer remedy on all three dimensions, the physical, psychological, and the mind. If, however, you need further evidence, here is where you'll find it. So, Frankl's second law of dimensional ontology addresses the possible origin of illness, more specifically to our case, cancer. It explored the possibility that the root cause of cancer can very well be the mind, and it reads as follows. Different phenomena projected out of its own dimension into a one dimension lower than its own, or their own, are depicted in such a manner that the pictures are ambiguous. So in front of us, let's unpack this for a moment. In front of us, and I'll turn my laser pointer right here. In front of us, we see three-dimensional objects. We have a cylinder, we have a cone, and we have a ball. So now that we have those suspended in three-dimensional space, we have the floor, we have the wall to the left. Let's dig a little deeper and see the beauty of this model. So, the three-dimensional object that we see in front of us, the cone, the cylinder, and the ball, are all perceived as having the same shape or to produce the same shadow when projected out of their three-dimensional world down to a two-dimensional world, which is the floor in this case. Now, of course, you and I can see that these are the original objects, but when you look at the shadow that they cast, you have no idea of the exact shape of the original object because it all looks exactly the same, right? So these objects can be likened to the different realms from which illness and cancer can originate from. So if we can liken the cylinder to the physical or biological or environmental realm, then this will be the cylinder. The cone will be the psychological and social realm. And the ball will be the spiritual realm, or as I constantly keep saying, or Frankl keeps saying, or mentioned before, that the word spiritual, that the way that Frankl is using the word spiritual here is meant in its secular sense, and by that I mean the realm of meaning of life. So it is impossible to deduce otherwise the exact structure of the primary and true object, the root cause, if you will, simply by studying the shape or shadow or effect on the floor. Each of the objects cast the exact same shadow, right? So this, the beauty of this model is that it logically illustrates the importance of perception within the context of illness. If the circle on the floor represents a state of illness, we simply cannot tell which of those dimensions is its root cause. I want to say that very clearly. If the shadow on the floor represent a state of illness, we simply cannot tell which of these objects, the cylinder, the cone, or the ball, is its root cause. Which is the object that is its root cause? There's only one logical conclusion here, and that is that for some people, the cause of cancer is absolutely in the physical and biological dimension. For others, the source lies within their psychological dimension, and still, for others, it very well may be in the realm of the mind. How can you possibly treat the whole person or expect a patient to heal without addressing all of these dimensions. I don't think you can. The responsible thing to do here is to recognize the possibility of illness originating in any of these dimensions, including the dimension of the mind. I would say that simply by assuming that cancer is just a physical phenomenon or psychological phenomenon, we fail to acknowledge that we are, as human beings, multidimensional, and therefore illness is a multidimensional event, if you will. We again fail to see the whole person and therefore treat the whole person, and by failing to do so, we only partially treat the cancer, hence increasing the possibility for recurrence or loss. The bottom line is this: you have so much to gain and nothing to lose from addressing and treating your mind. Really, I want you to think about it. If you don't know how to do that, I'm happy to tell you or share more about that. But you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. A lot of this information, and certainly these models, can be found in my book, The New Cancer Paradigm. If you want to do the research by yourself, you're more than welcome. If you want to find it in my book, you're more than welcome to do that. And there's a lot of information there. I want to keep this video short, so all you have to do is simply look for the information either on my website, avinoamlerner.com. It's also available on Amazon and in various other outlets. So that's it for me. This is the second law, or utilizing Frankel's second law of dimensional ontology to describe the challenge that researchers face, and that is that they can't, because they look at illness and cancer through a single dimension lens, they fail to see the original object, the object that may be the root cause, and it can be biological, it can be psychological, and it can be the mind. If you want to find out more, simply contact me either on my website, telephone, or through this link, and I will be happy to share with you a 45-minute, what I call breakthrough to recovery discovery session, during which we will craft an action plan that you can implement immediately to strengthen your immune system, improve resilience, and certainly your quality of life. Thank you so much for being with me. I look forward to sharing more information with you.